Hi, so today, the day that I am filming this is February 10th, 2018. I have already seen the first episode of French Scum, as well as the first two clips from the next episode. Definitely was not too excited to hear about the American version back when I first heard about it. I made a whole video about that, but I feel like I should make an updated video to tell you that yes, indeed, I am planning on watching all of the different adaptations in all of the other different countries. So I don't want to see like an identical story, all of those different languages. I'd like to learn more about the different cultures and stuff. I'm apprehensive, but I'm also open-minded. What I would compare adaptations to. Okay, so imagine that I'm this really great designer and I have this line. Maybe my first outfit was like wowza, amazing. It was popular, people loved it. But for the next few outfits, I don't want to just recreate that first outfit I made with the model in mind. I looked at what kind of things she liked to wear, what looked good on her specifically, and that is good. And some of those ideas might carry over to the other ones, but at the same time, my other models have different coloring, different body shapes, different preferences, and different ideas and opportunities that I could explore. It would be just not very creative of me to put that same outfit on a different model. That's not what I would want to do as a designer. I also wouldn't want to just take my first outfit in the spirit of reinventing myself or whatever, just cut it the fuck up with no skill or no real ideas about what I'm doing other than I'm just trying to make it different somehow. I feel like adaptations often go in those two directions, but sometimes you take some of the ideas from the first thing, take the spirit, the essence of the original thing, look for different opportunities to explore that essence in a different way. I think it's definitely a difficult thing to do. Turned my bed sheets around and it is now the 16th of February. What do I think of French Scum? Right now it's similar to the original, but at the same time not. I do wish that there was more content. My favorite thing about the first episode is definitely the theater kids. You don't know this because I never got a chance to review the first season here on my channel, but I love that theater girl from season 1. I just felt like she was so adorable and she just looked so happy to see Eva, and Eva gave her the cold shoulder at the party. So I want something to happen there with the theater girl in this version, but I feel like that's not gonna happen. But I do love that she ended up going to an after party with the theater kids. Their introductory scene was very good. I love seeing something that was different from the original, seeing them play off of each other. Before the show even started and when casting was announced, I was really excited to see an interracial couple being the main couple of the first season. I think that Jan is a lot nicer than Jonas. I really didn't like Jonas. I disliked William more, which we'll go into. So my favorite season is season 1. And when I watched season 1, I had already seen season 3. I was already completely spoiled about what happened with the whole Ingrid situation. So my opinion was never shaped by me thinking that Jonas was cheating on Eva and then him being completely off the hook because he isn't cheating on her. I felt like there were a lot of other problems in the relationship, and Eva owned up to the problems that she had, but I don't know if Jonas ever came around and learned about what he did wrong in the relationship. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I'll talk about that more maybe at the end of the season, where I might do like a comparison review between French Scum and Norwegian Scum. One of the reasons why I feel like I'm in this parallel universe, I'm gonna have to call the original Scum the Norwegian original Skam, and then we're gonna have to differentiate between all of the other different versions. But I would like to say, I am so grateful to the fandom, our international multilingual fandom. I'm already planning on watching all of the versions of Skam, and I'm already like pretty sure that I'll be able to, and that's because the fandom is just great. I love you all for doing this, making it so that we can all watch together. Yeah, so definitely a big shout out to all of you guys who make that possible. The US version I heard is filming already. On one hand, I'm really excited that Yoli Andam will be able to direct it because like she can bring all of the things that I love about the original over to the Texas one. But I'm very worried about William. I already saw him in one goddamn language. I'm gonna see him in 6 other languages, and I'm sure that he's gonna be all over the Texas one. William and Nora broke up because the actor left, and that was just such a blessing to have season 3 with no William. Yeah, we heard about him a few times. It was boring as fuck, but I didn't have to see him. But I'm sure that that's not gonna happen in this version. Maybe she'll get somebody, whoever plays the William character, to sign a fucking contract, and then we'll never be rid of him. Not for long. Dear Brianna, why do you hate William so much? Don't you know he had a bad childhood? I think that he changed. Didn't you pay attention to that one scene with Sana and she pretty much told you how you're supposed to feel about William? I'm tired. I don't have like the energy to go into why I dislike William. Character development, people learning from their mistakes, apologies. I feel like a main component of that, humility. A good apology is about recognizing what you did wrong, owning up, taking responsibility, and communicating that to the person that you hurt, that you recognize what you did was wrong, that you don't want to do it again. What I saw William did, first with Vilda, he apologizes at the end of season 1, but then at the beginning of season 2, we see him use Vilda in order to blackmail Nora into going out on a date with him. When Nora calls him out on this, he blames everybody else. He guilt trips Nora for going on a date with him, even though she knows that Vilda likes him. He blames Vilda for sleeping with him. He didn't care about using her later on, and then just like made excuses for his behavior and found a way to blame everybody but him. He never really owns up to the fact that he manipulated Nora into going out with him. He gaslights her when she calls him out on this, when he absolutely did manipulate her. And then towards the end of season 2, when Nora is terrified she got raped and he just makes this whole thing all about him, he is completely awful to Nora, even after she texts him telling him that whatever happened between her and Nico was not consensual, she had blacked out. She has to beg him to talk to her. He says he doesn't love her anymore. And then when he comes back, he never owns up to what he did wrong. He just sweeps it under the rug. And what is it, like 3 days later, he's asking her to move in with him and is like all honeymoon stage, lovey-dovey, but then never says, you know what, I fucked up. You deserved way better than what I did. Yeah, so that's not character fucking development. Character development isn't just ignoring the thing that you did was bad or finding some way to blame somebody else and then just acting like everything's okay and sweeping it under the rug. A good example of a good redemption storyline that isn't just, he doesn't need character development, he had a sad childhood that gives him a free pass. Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Watch it. I'm serious. Yes, he had a sad childhood, but the story doesn't just stop with explaining his childhood. He actually owns up to what he does. He takes responsibility. He learns. He grows. It's amazing. That is how you redeem a character. So, onto that scene with Sana. I'd like to point out, I don't remember if Sana has ever so much as had a conversation with William, and she definitely wasn't listening in on those conversations and those text messages and blah 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 when William was completely manipulating Noora. So I don't feel like that conversation's a reliable counter argument. I feel like a lot of the things that Noora brought up, arguments like, I'm trying to be a strong independent woman, I shouldn't listen to a man's point of view and change my mind because he had a better argument. Like, that's not, I've talked to a lot of people who also hate William as much as I do, and I've never heard them say a strong independent woman should never change her mind. She should always stick to what she believes without questioning it. No, that's not the fucking issue. That is a straw man argument that has nothing to do with the problems that William and Noora have. I will say that some of the things that Sana brought up I agree with, but I do think that they apply more to William than to Noora. So I was listening to what Sana had to say and thinking, oh, so a good way to circumvent violence is to then listen to people, talk to people. Who suggested that? Who called that idea naive? Who shot down that idea without even really considering it? William. They were painting Noora as this person who's very stuck in her way of thinking, which maybe to some extent, but I felt like she was at least listening to William without being condescending. Whereas with William, even before the conversation started, you could tell he was like 200% over it. He didn't really care about what she had to say. And when she had a different opinion, instead of listening to her and respecting her, he just called her naive. He insulted her. Yeah, I think that William had a bigger problem with that than Noora did, to be honest. You know, I really love the idea of a strong character who has really strong opinions and who has a really great backbone, and then they meet somebody who challenges their ideas, who has a different perspective, and they've met their match. I did not see that with William and Noora. I saw that more with Yusuf and Sana. There were two people who care about each other, who think differently, and were able to express those opinions and learn from each other without being condescending and without being awful, and while still being respectful and loving. Like, there's a way to do that, and I felt like Sana and Yusuf were a much better example for that, but unfortunately we did not get to see that whole relationship unfold because there's so much fucking focus on William. There's that stupid love triangle, and then they just barely talked the whole season. And then in the 10th episode, we see everybody else's love interest and we don't see Yusuf. And we barely got to see him through the entire rest of the season. Like, they could have so easily had the Saturday clip be from Yusuf's perspective. The only consolation that I have personally is that at least William's clip, which was the longest one, at least that one has the least amount of likes for all of the episode 10 clips. So that's the thing that I'm holding on to. But instead of having William clip, I would have loved to have had a Yusuf clip. These are examples in which the other adaptations can improve, and I hope that they do, but I don't think that they will, because unfortunately relationships like William and Noora's are like so fucking common in young adult and new adult fiction. It's very discouraging to see how toxic relationships are so often glorified because our brooding male love interest had a sad childhood, so he doesn't need character development. He just needs a good woman who will stand by him even when he treats her like shit. Sorry, I don't mean to rant about William. When I made my season 4 video where I was like so excited that Sana was going to be the main character, I was saying that I don't want a repeat of season 2, but then I didn't want to explain why I disliked William because I didn't want that to take over the whole video. But I feel like I have to say something, so I felt like I should start with the main defenses of William. This is a UT jacket. I'm guessing that since Skam is set in Austria, Austin, we'll be seeing a lot of jackets like this. But no, I did not buy this because the show is set in Texas. I used to live in Texas when I was a teenager. I wanted to go to UT, but I didn't. I ended up moving to California instead, and I like it here. Yeah, fun fact about me. I think I'll talk more about the Skam Austin once it is closer to it being released. I will say that I am glad that they chose Austin. It's a pet peeve of mine when I see American media, and I feel like most of our movies and TV shows are set either in New York or LA, and I'm like, damn, this is a country with 50 states. It's humongous. There are so many other cities, so many other different cultures that we could be exploring. We don't need to limit ourselves to these 2 fucking cities. So I'm happy for that. But Austin's interesting. It's a very blue city in a red state, so I wonder how that will come into play. I'm definitely not going to be able to make regular Skam videos, but I'll make a playlist of all of the videos in which I discuss Skam. In the videos in which Skam is in the title, that's a video where I am directly talking about it, but in the playlist I'll also add in videos in which I talk about other things, but I'd spent some amount of time in that video discussing Skam as it related to a different topic, such as coming out storylines. So yeah, I'll do that. Bye bye.